Uh, I think more people are joining, but I think we should start. So, hi everyone. My name is Vikram, and I am the co-founder of BrainPundits Technologies. So, what we do here at BrainPundits is that we help students to discover their streams and careers using psychological testing. So that means that students come on our website, they give a battery of tests, and then they come to know about themselves and their abilities. So why am I starting like this? Because I was a student like yourself, and I started Brain Pundits right after my BTech, and I did my BTech in computer sciences, and I started it because during my college I had faced a lot of difficulty in this exam preparation. So I have what you can say exam anxiety. I can perform very well if there is no test sort of thing. But if we call it a test and we time it and there is teacher present, then stress overcomes my body and I'm not able to perform. And I noticed that I was preparing for JEE during my 12th, and I prepared for it, didn't get through. I prepared again, and I didn't get through again. So it caused a very big problems, depressions, cycles. I had to overcome all those things, and the only thing that was keeping me about was other people might be facing the same problem that I am. I mean, it is just such a general thing to understand what career you want to take. If you take like a survey out there, you will come to know that most people have chosen their careers almost randomly, and that's a very sad fact, but that's where we are. So let's first understand the education system that has caused all this. Okay, look, I'm not blaming the education system, but we're just trying to understand what it is, and how we can benefit out of understanding the entire system and taking it to our advantage. Okay, so I'll just share you this clip. Just see this. So this is the education system. We made this little GIF for you, and so here's the video. Play it.
Let me ask you a question. Were you satisfied with the way you have been taught? I already know the answer. I just wanted to draw your attention to our postmodern education system. What are we doing? We are mass producing students, manufacturing them, as it were. Without the proper care, without the proper attention, another human being requires and deserves. It's painful to see how the system butchers our youth, their dreams, ideas and aspiration. It's a joke how ineffective it is. There is no correlation between education and morals, between education and knowledge, and between education and success. It's a farce ingrained in rote learning, designed to produce a subservient class which does nothing but obey. Original thought is ridiculed and ignored. Creativity is discouraged and open-mindedness is mocked. Even the teachers have realized that this is an illusion, an eyewash, a lip service. Education is not taught here, it's swallowed and then regurgitated out. Schools and teachers used to mean something to us. Back then, it was called Gurukul, and education meant life lessons, things we can use to live life. Industrialization and westernization has destroyed the soul of education and made it into a business that manufactures robots. Robots who are skilled and only following instructions, not generating them. Robots who vomit out answers during the soul-crushing experience of standardized testing to score a 99. Tell me, what should I do with that 99? What does that mean? Can knowledge and aspiration even be measured and quantified? Some of our great intellectuals, businessmen, social activists have been labeled failures by the system. How can that system make so many mistakes unless it is severely broken and obsolete? In our education system, there is no selection criteria. There is only a deselection criteria. If a 60 percentile student is the benchmark, then what is wrong with the 59 percentile student? Is the difference so significant between 59 and 60? Between 32 and 33? The gap between supply and demand are increasing as the system descending far away from reality. But even though we have such a system, there is still hope for us. We can still take actions that can help us grow, evolve, and actually learn. If you are a student or a teacher who is fed up of how things have been going and don't know where to turn, start a change. Start a change within you. Apply what you learn. Learning is a process and has the following steps. Remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. Experiment with different learning styles. Some people are visual learners, others love to read, while others love to draw. You must find out how you learn, so experiment. Never let someone tell you are a failure. In fact, it is not that you have failed, it's the system for not helping you discover your inner passion and abilities. Learning from your elders. This is not a moral, it's a fact. Elders have been on this earth more time than us, and they have gathered a lot of experience. Experience is that matters. It outweighs knowledge many-fold. Travel and talk to diverse group of people. The saying goes, travel broadens the mind, and it is true. Hearing opinions from diverse group of people ensures that you don't get any bias in making decisions and choices. The system can improve if we all do our part. We are part of the system, and if we change, then the system will change. A utopia of education is far from becoming reality. But still, we must all change and embrace our new lives with happiness and curiosity. 21st century education should be our goal. If you ask me, we are still a long way from it. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. And that's good enough for me. Thank you, and think sense. Let me ask you.
So, what did you think? Do you agree with that? I mean, we have had a lot of registrations here. More than 1,000 people applied, and a lot of them were teachers also. Professors, assistant professors, and this is how I have felt. This is how a lot of my friends have felt, and I don't know about you, but this is like what we believe that this has happened to the system somehow. We need to basically understand how we can take advantage of this and move forward, take it to our benefit, and use it for our own gains. Okay, so for that we need to understand what we are here for. We are here for how to prepare for a competitive exams. Competitive exams means standardized testing. Okay, so standardized testing basically means that you are compared with your age group, generally speaking. So 1 year above, 1 year below, or 2-3 years above, 2-3 years below, till a certain age, which is about 23, 24. By that time, most of your cognitive abilities, most of your aptitude is at the peak. When you're 25, the aptitude is at the peak on average. After that, it starts to plateau first, and then it declines over time. And so this is what we have to realize, that you know we are at a certain age where the entire life is ahead of us, and we have to take decisions that are important to us. A lot of you ask, like, how do I get motivated, how can I stop my procrastination? So these things are they will come, they won't matter. So you won't have to think about procrastinating, you won't have to think about how do I motivate myself. You'll be too occupied in the activity itself that these things won't come and arise you. Okay, so like these are some of the important facts that you need to know about various papers. Okay, so this applies to all kinds of tests. Okay, so the number of people applied, so there are people who are from UPSC who want to prepare for UPSC, there are people who want to prepare for NET, both UGC and CSIR. Then there are people who want to give exams for state government, especially Tamil Nadu state government. It's coming up, I think. So a lot of people have registered from there, and CAT, and these are always there. JEE, NEET, banking PO. A lot of people have given. So all of these points, they matter for everyone. Okay, right? And I mean, it's easy for me to like tell you this is the pattern type, this is all the thing, but we will be sharing all these details with you in a separate PDF specifically to the if you're preparing for NEET, you'll get a NEET PDF. If you're preparing for UGC, you'll get a UGC PDF. Specific materials for you, a lot of goodies there to help you, so certain interactive activities and all those things. But here I just wanted to briefly touch upon this, and then you can have a look at these facts and then decide how many hours you need to devote to your to your exam, right? Because like there's this rule, I don't know if you heard of Malcolm Gladwell. So he's the author. What he says is, for anyone to become a master at some skill, you don't really need that much inner talent as much as you need the time invested in that skill. So he says on average it's about 10,000 hours. So 10,000 hours, if you have invested in a particular thing, in a particular skill, you will master that. So that is the general idea behind the hours devoted each day. That's about it about this slide. So next comes knowing yourself. Why is this important? It's important because everything comes from this. The ways to study competitive exams, how you study for them, there is no one right way. Okay, everybody is unique. There are 7 billion of us, 7.6 billion, and there are 7.6 billion unique people here. On average, like so it all depends on what is your learning style, what's all the things that who you are, what you like to do, how you like to do, right? So let's talk a little bit about how to you basically know yourself. What exactly am I talking about here? So there are like four pillars of your mind. Okay, so it's your personality, that's your mental makeup, swabhav जिसको कहते हैं, sorry for using Hindi. So that's personality, and then there's aptitude, your ability, your cognitive ability, logical ability, verbal ability, critical ability, and then is your naturalistic inclination. That means like what are your interests like, where are you generally interested towards, and then there's your intelligence, your IQ. I mean, lately it has people have not given weightage to IQ as much as they should, because IQ, especially the newer abstract IQ tests, they tell a lot about where that person's ability lies currently, and it's always good to know where you currently are, so that you can always prepare for you need to know what's ahead the road. Okay, So that's why, you have to know yourself on these particular grounds. What are my interests? What's my personality like? I mean, am I outward or inward? Do I think in sequential formats, or do I think intuitively? Do I think more, or do I feel more? And do I judge, or do I perceive? Am I emotionally stable generally? Uh, do I generally do hard work? Am I persistent at it? Do I have grit? So there are many of these factors, and we have that's what we do at Brain Pundits. We analyze which jobs require which factors, and then we help you guys to tell you, okay, for this job, how likely is it, and how, if you want to prepare for this job, where all you should put your effort. Because, like, try to understand it this way: aptitude and intelligence, they can be developed, right? So when a baby is born, it's not that they are super intelligent. I mean, Einstein was at when he was born, he couldn't probably do physics, or he couldn't probably even talk. But the personality of Einstein, it would have been like he would have been an investigative fellow, very interested in research, very interested in knowing how things work, and that curiosity made him, develop, learn more things, and the open-mindedness to, understand more ideas, to see, okay, if this is not working like this, maybe it can work like that. Flexibility, those kind of things pushed his aptitude, pushed his IQ beyond that level. So there are, like, many of these traits, and the tests that we give, they cover all these traits extensively. So the thing is, first you identify who you are, okay? Then you know the gaps. Okay, if I want to prepare for UPSC, and okay, I'm persistent enough, I'm good enough, but it's just that my emotional stability is not that high. I get stressed easily, I get anxious easily, I take I don't generally react well to tough situations. So then, once you understand these things, then you can move ahead and, like, then personalize yourself according to your strengths and weakness, and see, like, where you lack, where you can grow. Now let's talk about study hacks, and, like, what all you can do to boost this thing, to take this thing to the next level, okay? Like, how can you take this further? So firstly, how much difference do these study hacks make? Okay, it depends on your personality, and it also depends on how much exposure to these tricks and hacks you have already had. More or less, they do cause a considerable amount of help, but in the end, you're the one who doing the work. It really helps to, know that whatever you are preparing for, you are passionate towards that. We become passionate towards a particular subject or a particular skill when we have the aptitude for it. Like, if you have, like, if you're in the range of that aptitude, then you're able to have a passion for that particular subject matter, and as that subject matter has that, as you have more passion, you get an opportunity to do it. You get an opportunity to, maybe you get some job interview, maybe you get some lucky question in the exam that you knew, that you had prepared for, you had spent nights doing hundreds of questions, and suddenly 2 questions come up in the paper. So these are the things that actually matter. And once you take the opportunity, and you take that passion of yours, and you make it into a career, okay, make it into your purpose of life. So I certainly don't think that one person should do one career at a time, one career in their entire life, because many people have many sort of transformations during their ages. So during their, maybe their teens, they might like something else. When they, turn out of their teens, they completely change. It happens a lot. And it's good. It's good because you get to understand your metamorphosis. You get to grow out of that shell of yours and grow as a person. A lot of people asked me, a lot of people in the in the registration form asked that how can we develop ourselves, how can we know ourselves, how can we do these things. So it's all about uh, I would say it's all about spending your time doing things. Okay, do anything, any skill, any activity, anything. I mean, no activity is bad. Okay, but then you have to understand like what are you gaining out of it, and like how can you use it. Because in life these things come over and over again. You may find some activity that you use it, you must have learned it somewhere else, you use it again, right? Let's talk about these study hacks. So firstly, it's the planning, right? Here there is lot of doubts, and there is lot of people who don't do it, lot of people who overdo it. Okay, and the best strategy is doing the balance. Okay, what does that mean? So I'll tell you that I told earlier that there is people who do things sequentially, one at a time, or people who do things intuitively, like whatever comes to their mind. Both strategies you can apply to learning any subject, right? So whenever you look at the syllabus of an exam, so firstly you look at the pattern, like a sequential person would firstly look at the exam pattern. He'll look at the introduction and all the things. He'll see what is important, how much is given what marks, and then start reading in that chronological order. The the other person might do this ki whatever classes he has attended or he might have missed, so whatever he has attended, he'll start reading that first. Then he'll start reading, and then he come to the point where he doesn't know something, so he'll look that thing up in Google or in whatever, know what it is, and then move ahead. So what he's doing, he's doing need based learning. So this is a very important thing when you have to do things quickly. Okay, so the advantage of this is that you can learn a subject very quickly if you just start reading from wherever you know, and wherever you have doubt, you can just look that up. What does that mean? Generally speaking, what does that mean in a summary format? Okay, so it means that, okay, I'll apply it here. Read ahead. So it really helps you in that way. Planning will help this entire structure. How? So if you do the planning and then do this, then you have best of both worlds. So you're doing planning and as well as exploration. And when you do that, then you come to know what to learn. So there are topics which are almost meant to be skipped. Why, I don't know. Some people spend hours on it. They waste their times, and it's better to skip certain of these topics. You guys know better which topics of yours, particular subjects, when you do the planning and the exploration. So next is learning, how to learn. So how do you read? How do you do that? So firstly, we have to understand everyone is different in the fact that how you absorb information. Our education system is ki you take stuff in your mind and then you write it on the paper. As much as clearly as you understand it, you take it in the mind and then you replicate it on the paper. So memorization is a very important thing, and how the ways of learning, they matter. So how you can do that? Well, either you can start reading straight away. Okay. So a lot of these people, they like to read. They read novels, they read books. इतनी बड़ी books होती हैं उनकी. They have such fat books, and they're able to memorize those things somehow. I have not been one of those people. I personally, I do the second thing, which is like to listen to the audio format. So I generally find a book in the audio format, or I get some lectures in audio format and listen to that. So the internet is full of stuff. The internet is full of materials. So these audio lectures, they are available for almost all subjects. And if you start listening to them, just try once. Maybe it's better than reading for you. Maybe you can gain more understanding of the subject matter through the 30 minutes video, 30 minutes audio, rather than reading it. So some people do the third thing, a lot of them, which is the video lectures part. Video lectures I like, but then again, these things are never the substitute for actually attending the teacher's classes. It's very important to attend classes. I can't stress this enough, because once you interact with teachers, once you have an interaction and have debates, have case studies, understanding the subject matter, going to and fro, that's the next level of learning. Okay, it comes in a pyramid. That the pyramid that you shown in the video, that's a very important pyramid. Some of you might know it. It's called Bloomberg's taxonomy. It's the way we humans understand new information and are able to process it quickly and then crystalline it in our minds. Okay, and thirdly, that is apply what you learn. So the cornerstone, the head of the pyramid is apply. Okay, so what that means is that whatever you read, you have to apply it. What do I mean by apply? I mean have a conversation with someone regarding this. Now I don't. You can have it with a student of your own age, of your own batch. Do something that allows you to recall that. Once you do that, neurologically speaking, those connections, they become more stronger, and the useless connections, they are trimmed off, and it becomes optimized, almost like optimized like exactly like an electrical circuit. Actually, it is an electrical circuit. And if we realize this, this is how a lot of these people, they're able to do it. There is one such famous person, professor. His name is Dr. Feynman. Okay, so Feynman had this technique of learning, that he was able to pick up any subject which he had no knowledge about and learn it better than many of the students who are actually in doing their first year, second year projects, and actually telling them how it should be done. How he did that? Well, basically, as I said, he did apply these first two things. That is, he did the exploration. He read things and found the error and then looked it up. And then his memorization techniques, his way of learning, he knew all those things. And then he applied that. He thinked in a mind, he did experiments in his mind about that subject matter, and was able to get a better understanding of all these things. So next comes like execution, which is, I think, at least 70% of your competitive exams. Yes, this is very, very important, because this is the actual brunt work. This is the actual thing that we're doing. This is the actual job that we're here to do. We are students. You're students after all. This is the thing that you're preparing for. So how can you maintain these? How can you maintain the first two and avoid the third? How can you be consistent, have focus, and avoid burnout? How can you do that? So it's all about, again, it comes to the basics is knowing yourself, knowing that whatever you're doing, whatever you're preparing for, that is what you want to do. Understand it this way, like if you found that you love doing something, okay, if you found you love doing something, then you won't really have to work at it. It will be just like love. It will be just like you love doing it. It's like a hobby. You won't even think of it like work. And that is the key that you know yourself, and you aim based on that. How do you get focus? How does there are many tips and tricks about that. So one such trick or trip is that you do something called the Pomodoro technique, which is what some of you might do intuitively, but it's just an actual technique where what you do is you study for 30 minutes, focused hard on the subject matter. Then after 30 minutes you take a 10 minutes break, you have a sip of water, you eat something, you come back, you spend 30 minutes again. Then you go away, then you go spend 10 minutes again, then you come back 30 minutes. So it's called a Pomodoro technique because if you must have seen that plastic bird that goes up and down like this. So when it goes down like this, you're reading, and when you go up like this, you're not reading. It's Pomodoro technique. This technique has had a real benefit to people. Research studies have been done, and it has been actually seen to cause a significant amount of help in competitive exams. One more thing I'd like to say about consistency. So one more thing I'd like to say about consistency is that basically consistency, it's also called grit. How much persistence you have, how much will you have, and it comes down to a trait which is called conscientiousness. Okay, it's dependent on conscientiousness. What is conscientiousness? Conscientiousness is a mixture of 2 or 3 qualities. Maybe it's dutifulness. So how dutiful you are, whether you think of it as a duty. Second, how industrious you are, how efficient you are while doing things. And third is moral character, whether when you say I'm going to do this and then you do it. Sometimes some people, it happens that you say I'll do it, I'll do this, and then you don't do it. You do try to do it, but it doesn't happen. I don't know why that may be for all of you, but I have seen this issue, and maybe the reason is that we are not listening to the right person in the mind, right? You must have heard that the mind should be controlled. Man pe kabu pao, man pe kabu pao. Mind should be controlled. What does that mean? We are mind. So what do we mean by that? We mean that the voice who you are conversing with in the brain, the voice who you're conversing with, they will say, let's skip this, let's do this tomorrow. What will happen? So the idea is that that voice needs to understand the importance of that boundary, right? Boundary, that limit, the law, rule. This is not to be reached and breached. It has to be practiced. There are ways to do it. We'll talk about those ways right now in the coming time. Lastly, it's revision, and how you revise is always important. Why? Because it may be that you've learned something, you've spent time doing the calculations, but then you do other things. You come 4 months later to that subject matter, and you seem to forget everything. That happens. That is how the mind is. It will prune the unused networks or the circuitry at night when you sleep. So during the last 4 months, you had not used that subject matter, and hence the brain pruned it off. That doesn't mean that it's not there, because the brain does not have a hard delete button, but it's difficult to recollect that. How do you ensure that doesn't happen? The idea is that you have to keep coming to that over and over again. Keep coming to it. Keep coming to the subject matter. You know, maybe after 1 week you just see the book. You just see the topic headings. You just see what's all doing. Like you just see the diagrams maybe, right? It's just there to jog your memory over, just to make those circuits stronger, just to make those circuits more bonded, and you'll be able to use that. I did share a video with you guys on memorization techniques. Some of you said that it's in Hindi, some of parts in Hindi. So we do also have a blog. It's called blog.brainpundits. We have written a blog on this. You can check this out after this session, and there are many more things on there. Lots of stuff. The kind of things that we talk about, it's more from your perspective rather than the perspective of industry or whatever. So, and revision the last thing is that you should get a study partner. Why do I say that? I mean, lot of you, I understand, are introverts. You like to study alone, you like to live alone. That's okay. Study partner is someone who helps you. And by study partner, I don't mean your friend who does exactly what you do, who has the same interests and same mindset. We should get someone who is diagonally opposite to you. Why? Because you can teach him or her what you are strong at, and they can teach you what you are weak at. So in that particular fashion, you are able to teach each other and have that interaction that is so important in classes. That's why classes are so important. So you're able to have that class sort of environment as a study partner. Study groups, I don't know, I don't think they work. Why? Because they just become less serious. It becomes less serious. It becomes more of a hangout type thing. So study. It depends. If you have good few people, then you can have study groups. But generally speaking, one person, two people, they're good enough. They're good enough to do it. So now let's move on to how you can manage that your psyche. What does that mean? How can you manage your abilities? How can you manage your sense of self, the inner minds, the screaming in the mind that happens, the constant frustration that sometimes occurs with us, or maybe sometimes we just don't want to get out of bed. That's like the basic thing. I don't even want to get up today. That happens to all of us. Okay, firstly you have to understand that we are humans, and the mind, it's a very beautiful thing. It has 90 billion connections in it, but it's very imperfect. It has very big flaws. You must have seen that by now. I mean, there are certain flaws in the mind that are there because we have been evoluted. We have undergone evolution, and during evolution those things didn't matter, but now they do matter. What do I mean that? Like, for example, technically, if you think about it, if you don't prepare for your competitive exam every day, then you're not supposed to feel good at all. And what should be done? The next day, if you skip one day, the next day your mind will say you have to do double to cover up for last day. That's what is supposed to happen. But that doesn't happen, does it? It rarely happens like that. The other guy, the other person, the other gal in the mind, who is we? They are us only. They overpower us, and that mind, it goes out of the box. It goes out of the. Let's try to see how we can manage that. Firstly, you have to understand you have to be balanced. Life means balance, You can't study all the time. You can't play all the time. You have to have balance of these things. If you do study all the time, you're going to suffer from burnout. You are, before the exam, that happens to a lot of people. It had happened to me in my second attempt, that I had a burnout. What burnout means? It basically means that you study so much that basically your mind becomes mush. It's not able to produce as better output. It's not as effective, as efficient, as accurate, and you certainly feel the stress more. The stress gets to you. So the idea is balance. What does that do? You must have heard of something called work-life balance. I'll tell you with an example, and then you will definitely do the balance thing. During the 1970s, Finland, the country, had one of the lowest grade point average of students. So their students didn't score well in standardized testing. These competitive exams, they didn't score well. And the Finland education system, they wanted to understand why was this happening. They came to know they made a certain changes. I'll tell you what they made changes, and you'll be surprised. Especially you teachers, professors, you'll be completely surprised. So what they did was, these are for school students, high school and kindergarten, whatever from K1 to K12, kindergarten to 12th, all of them, they did this thing. They stopped the homework. Not completely, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes of homework every day. That's it. Most of the time, because the student, you are at an age where you need as much sleep, as much rest from the subject matter, in order to, as I said, to optimize those connections, in order to prune the unused bits, and keep what's there, and have that working fast and working effectively. There's no point in reading an entire big book and remembering nothing about it, rather than reading this tiny book and remembering everything about it. Okay. Then we come to the mind, like what sort of things does this play? Does this entity play? This is perhaps you must have heard all of these art of living, this Isha Yoga, Isha Kriya, meditation, transcendental meditation, all these things. There are so many variants. What are they all doing? They're doing nothing, but they're trying to teach people how to calm this thing, how to calm this mind. And when you calm it down, I'll tell you what happens neurologically. Neurologically, there is a frequency there's a frequency caused by the electrical circuitry, which it's called the alpha waves. So there is alpha waves, beta waves, delta waves, which are there in the brain. They arise due to various circumstances. Delta waves come when we sleep. So when you are in REM sleep, when you're in deep sleep, then delta waves come. Beta waves, beta waves, they're generally there when you are working active, and alpha waves, they are there when you are meditating. Okay. So why are alpha waves important? I'll tell you why. Because their frequency is 40 megahertz, and that's the region of the prefrontal. That's the circuitry of the resonance of the prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal cortex, that is the forward, the head part, the forehead part of your brain. That is the most advanced brain. That is the most higher order brain. So that is the brain that controls everything. Below is the animal brain, the reptilian, the mammalian and the reptilian brain, and this is the more advanced and the more thoughtful of the brains. So they work in hierarchy. And if you are able to strengthen this brain, then you are able to, have that control, have that drive, have that consistency, focus. And they call it eye of the tiger. You must have heard this statement in some movie or something. Eye of the tiger means that when you're doing the test, or when you're doing some activity, like right now I'm talking to you guys, why am I not shaking like this? Why am I not like stuttering, like I'm not doing that? Because I am in the moment, I am thinking the things which I want to think, and I'm saying them with effective ease, with effective power, able to recall them, able to say them. That's the eye of the tiger. And a lot of people say that meditation is important. I agree. We all agree that meditation is the only tool right now, the only big tool right now that can really help you to have an increase in the amount of output you have. If you're not doing that, you should start doing that. Like, next come to the body. The body is also very, very important. Like what you eat, what you drink, and how well you understand your body's signals. Like if your body is telling you to go to sleep, but you are still watching a YouTube video, you should not fight that. I mean, these things are very basic. You must have heard from a lot of people, but they're like basics because they actually do work. And it's always good to remind you of basics. If you increase your brain food, like almonds are brain food. They have that protein which increases white matter. Some of you might be vegetarians, so I won't recommend it to you, but omega-3 fatty acid capsules, they are very helpful. They have caused, they do cause, at least to me, it causes significant help to me. Multivitamins, they also help. A balanced food diet, heavy in proteins. So these things add up. They add up. It's just a matter of committing. You can say ki I'm doing all these things, let me just have my food, let me just have my YouTube, let me just have all these things, and this is how it's okay either way, but the more you do, the better it will be. Okay. Last thing is the stress. How can we deal with stress? Well, this is it's a very tough topic. Stress is both important and it causes catastrophes. No? If you don't have stress at all, like if you don't have stress at all, then you probably wouldn't even worry. You probably wouldn't even prepare for anything. You probably won't even get out of bed. You would do pretty much when you want to do, but the world doesn't work like that. The world works without us also. Remember that the world was here when we were not born, and the world will be here when we die. The world will always, we have to mold ourselves to the world, not the other way around. Stress is it's one of the most leading causes of these problems, mental problems, these bodily problems. It's very important to take care of these things. Meditation helps. There are certain activities that you can do to calm your stress. Some people, they suggest that you can vent out your anger, vent out your inner thoughts, frustrations. Some people, I think it's always a good idea to talk to someone, never to bottle things up. Talking to anyone, anyone, helps. And sometimes talking to a stranger also helps, someone who's like an acquaintance who doesn't know much about you. So you can, share something that you feel you don't want to share with known people, right? That happens. There are things, but then you do want to share these things. You can't. Bottling things up is almost always wrong. Okay, you must have known that if you bottle things up, there's just pressure that builds up in here. And maybe any reason, maybe that you're unhappy about where you are right now. You may be unhappy about your current lifestyle, your current goals. It's okay to be unhappy, but then you don't have to wallow in it. You don't have to create a cycle of unhappiness. Oh, I'm unhappy, and then you reinforce that. Okay, I'm unhappy again. You build up on the unhappiness over and over again, and until it's just nothing but unhappiness signals in your mind, and that's when those dreadful words called depression come in. Lot of you, like I have been through that. Okay, and it's very tough because when you are depressed, like you don't see anything. You don't see what's 20 feet ahead of you. You only see this, and you say that this is not what I want in life, and you're not able to see any direction, and you feel constantly bad. It's equivalent to getting physically hurt. It's exactly equivalent to getting physically hurt. Like someone is beating you every day, it's exactly like that. There is no difference in the mind. It interprets physical and emotional pain the same way. Why am I saying these things? Why am I telling you these things? You have to share the stress in you with someone. I am also an introvert. I'm a very big introvert actually. So I have developed my abilities to be extrovert, like right now. So it comes very easily to me now. I'm both extrovert and introvert. I'm not an ambivert. Ambivert means nothing. I'm an extrovert when I want to be, and I'm an introvert most of the times. That's how you can define me. Find your own ways to overcome this stress. I know there are a lot of things I have missed, but like I want to come to the last part of this lecture series, and like how we can help you guys. Okay, so why did I want to do this lecture series? Why do I want to do a webinar? Just because everyone else is doing? Why? Just because there's COVID and that? No, it's not at all. It's just that I thought about it. I thought about like how can we reach out to people who are actually preparing for exams right now. How can we help them? How can we make them see the light of the day? Make them know about themselves. Make them know about their own inner abilities, passions, so that they are able to take a much informed decision about their careers. Okay, so like this is our motto. What does this mean? I'll tell you. If you want to find purpose in life, then you got to find something you're good at, ability wise, aptitude wise, what you love doing, your passion. But it must be something that the world needs. Okay, this is important. This is why our parents don't let us do this, and was something you can be paid for. Like if you find 4 of these factors and you combine them, one particular career is doing all these 4 things for you, that is your passion, that is your purpose of life. So this is in an essence I think the lesson that you should take out of this. The entire thing, this is the lesson you should take out of this. It's a Japanese concept. I didn't make this. It's called ikigai. And it's supposed to say that you're supposed to find happiness and satisfaction through this. Okay. This is our career test. What we do is we have designed specific career tests. Okay. Not a general career test alone, but specific career tests to tell you, like if most of you are doing, a lot of you are doing UPSC, right? A lot of you are doing state governments. So we have made a test that tells you on your personality, your aptitude, it takes your interest and intelligence, combines that, and then tells you, okay, you want to be a UPSC government officer? This is where you are excellent. These are the qualities where you're excellent at. These are the qualities where you're medium at. These are the qualities where you need to work right now. So stop doing this, start doing this. Most of the people, they work on their strengths all the time, not their weaknesses. And how did we make all this? How did this all come along? So this is a 5-year project. We had started this in 2014. So then there is Dr. Professor N.K. Chadda, who has 40 years of psychological experience. He's our chief scientific officer. We interacted with him, and we convinced him to work with us. And under his guidance, we made all these tests. So these are all standardized tests. They are already standardized. They are already reliable tests already out there. All we did was we combined them and then saw which personality traits are required for which job, and we created a custom algorithm for each career. Okay, that's how we came to this thing. So it's not only about the test. When you take the test, you also get a report. Then you get to develop the weak areas. There the real work starts. So our website, it also has a lot of material, and you will get that material based on your score. So if you scored low on certain aspects, you will get material, videos and articles to improve that. What you can do to improve that. How you can be more emotionally stable. How you can be more persistent. How you can be more extrovert. How you can be, more, let's say more, have more oral comprehension, more written writing experience. How you can do that. So these articles and videos from the best sites of Google, best sites. So these are the tests that we have. We will be, you can see right here, all the exams that we have tests for. Okay, so I'll read out all of them first. So the government exams, are you fit for the civil services? The exam name is called, test name is called that. It's both a cognitive and a behavioral part. What that means? It means that it tests your personality, your aptitude, your interest, intelligence. Personality and interests, they are behavioral part, and aptitude and intelligence, they are cognitive part. So the number of qualities that we test, the number of factors that we test here is 50 plus. Okay, and what we do is we tell you how fit are you to be a UPSC officer. Okay. How did we arrive at these tests? So especially for the state governments and UPSC and the government exams, all of them. So I have a privilege that my father, he was an IAS officer. He retired last year only. And when I was making this, I said, okay, Dad, I need your help. What do you think you need? Who's a good IAS officer? Who's the best of the best IAS officers? And he has had 30 years of experience in this. He has been doing this for 30 years. And I asked him, at the end of his careers, and he had that much experience in life. Like I said in the video, that experience is all that matters. Knowledge can be gained anytime. Experience is all that matters. So we got down together, me, him, Dr. Chadda, and then we had consultants working with us who helped us to understand what are the qualities, what is the aptitude, and if you do need help, how can you help? So there's specific text that comes, specific detailed interpretations that come after the test. what does that mean for each quality, for each of these 50 qualities, 50 plus qualities, and it gives you a very detailed report. It's like a 60-page report that tells you about all these factors. Okay? So right now it's generally for 2000, but since you guys have come for the webinar and you registered with us, and we like to help you guys, so we like to reach an arm out to you and give you a discount on this. Okay, we want you to take this test. Okay, it will help you, and that's without doubt, because you will get to know more about yourself, and that is the first step towards moving towards reaching to your goals. For JEE, we have specific career tests that tell you non-medical courses that you can take. Like, why is this important? I'll tell you. When you have given your JEE, when you have given all the engineering exams, and you're standing in line of the of the college, the application process is going on, and they're saying, okay, you have choice between mechanical and electrical, rest are taken. How do you decide that? Generally you decide on the spot. I decided on the spot, and that's actually a very bad thing to do. You have to have prior thinking, prior planning, and this will really help. So it highlights the top 20 careers out there. Similarly, NEET, we have done the same thing for medical careers. Okay, so not only doctors, specialized doctors, but all the medical careers that are out there, right? MBA, so the management courses, the management careers that are out there, sales manager, the marketing executive, HR, finance, general IT management. All these things, they require certain executive behavior. Okay, generally MBA people are more extrovert. That's a general trait. Yes, but there are introverts also. Of course, there are very good introvert MBA management people. Yes, a lot of them. Right. So moving on, let's look at the banking sector. So we have here top 20 careers in finance. So the careers that a person who was interested in finance, who was interested in banking can go. The idea is that don't be fixated towards one goal alone. Okay, why is that? It's that because your time is valuable, and you can do more things in that time. If you read the same books, you can give 2-3 more exams. What's the harm in that? And in fact it will give you more more help, more experience, more hours applied, and that's important. Similarly for CA. Then for UGC and NET, we found one thing that was important. It was that NET, it means that you qualify to be a teacher, you qualify to be a professor, but the actual job will be given by the college or by the institute that you apply for, and that is where the biggest problem lies. Okay, clearing NET is okay, it is tough, but you can do it if you persevere hard enough, if you persevere strong enough. Okay, the idea is that this is a behavioral test. It will tell you how good of a teacher you can be. Okay, now go back to your teachers, go back to your childhood and your school days. Think of the teacher you loved, teacher you really loved, you really admired. Who were they, or what did they do? It's not necessary that they knew the subject that well. They must have known it, I'm not denying that, but the more important thing was they were able to strike a match in that heart, a love for learning that subject matter, and that caused you to really admire them as a person, really look up to that person. So these are the traits that we identify for UGC NET people. UPSC we have talked about, TNPSC, that is the state level Tamil Nadu exam. that is also the similar kind of civil services. For more people said that placements, how I want to get placed, I need a job. I have done, maybe I've done engineering, maybe I've done BCom, maybe I've done BCA, but I need to get a job. How do I do that? So in this we have a test called how employable you are. What we had done, we had asked, we had took a survey from industries, various industries. What do you think do you need in a fresher from this job, for this category? We made a list, then we combined them and we put it into the algorithm for all the placements. And we also looked at the aptitude questions, the aptitude tests of whom? Of Infosys, of all these, of HCL, TCS, of Convergys, all these MNCs, Indian MNCs, whose tests are out there, who are the from whose tests all the other tests are made. And then we were able to design this test. So next is that if you don't know, there were a lot of people who said that. There were a lot of people who said that I don't know what I want to do, or they said I want to do anything, or I said I want to do all, or they said four things, 5 things. So this is I think, if you don't know who you are, you should take this test. This is very important. This is why if all of these guys, okay, I'm sorry guys, if all of these guys would not have come and only you guys would have come, I would have concentrated on you. You are this is the essence of this webinar. You need to understand about your own abilities, your own strengths, your own weaknesses, and how you can utilize them in the world and become, whoever you want to do, whoever you want to become. Okay. Whoever you look up to, you want to become that, you become that. The power is within you. Okay, that's our tag. Explore the power within. That's not very. We didn't make that one day. It was a very important, powerful message. Finally, for international students want to study overseas. The bigger problem for overseas students, yes, it is to score in the SATs or the LSATs, GREs, GMATs. They are all there. Okay, these are standardized tests which don't require specific domain knowledge. What I mean by that, it means that it only requires 8th or 9th class level fundamentals. You don't need 11th, 12th class or 10th. Few of them you need 10th class, but 11th, 12th class you definitely don't need those fundamentals. If you have the fundamentals of 1st to 10th very strong, or you have somewhat of a control over it, and then you can work hard towards these aspects and score good marks. The problem that people generally face in international selections is the 2-3. Firstly is scholarships. It's expensive. So either your family takes a loan, or you take a loan, or you might be a few lucky people who get scholarships. We have made a video on all the scholarships on our YouTube channel, on this channel only. You can find the clips later, and the initial clip that you found, that's also there on the channel. So coming back to this, I wanted to say that this test allows you to access, firstly, when you have to write the SOP, the statement of purpose, right, to the college where you are applying. Statement of purpose, you should know, it's generally about who you are and your abilities. See how it's important. So you have to write that. So this test will help you in that. And second, it will also help you understand whether you'll be able to live overseas or not. Because if you think of it realistically, all my friends who have gone, they might have gone to study, they really settle there most of the time. 90% of the time they settle there. And this is a thing that you have to understand, that maybe you won't be able to see your family and all those things. So this test is related to that aspect, measuring that aspect. And that's it. So we so all these tests, you won't find them right now, right? We are adding their coupon codes that will allow this price drop. Okay, we will share the coupons with you on the WhatsApp group. Okay, and we'll share you the cutoffs and the syllabi and all those things, and some more goodies. Okay, those goodies you'll really like. One of them is timetables of toppers of all these exams. Okay, so the topper of government exams like TA and SPS, who what was their schedule like? What was their general schedule like? A timetable sort of thing. It's very important. It will really help you. UGC NET, what sort of timetable did they have? Those toppers. JEE, NEET, all these, UPSC. So it will have those things. Specific PDFs for all these specific exams. We'll distribute them separately. There will be some pages that are common in them, because those are common information that everybody should know. And the coupons we'll also share, maybe in a day or two on the WhatsApp group. So stay connected with us. You can let us know what is the next webinar you want us to take. Okay. I had certain ideas in mind, but you guys are the real people who are we working towards. So you tell us what should we work towards. Okay, and do let us know how you liked it. You can comment in the sections, in the descriptions, in the comments below. You can tell us what did I do wrong, where did I address did I not address some of your concerns. But don't do that now. Concerns, just wait until I have uploaded those PDFs. Just wait till then you can say, okay, this PDF doesn't have this thing, could you please help. Okay, so we'll definitely do that. And best of luck.